It's that time again. It's the podcast that takes your personal and professional life to a whole new level. Whether you're selling a product, selling a service, or selling yourself, one thing is for sure. You're always selling for life. Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Selling for Life podcast, sponsored by Conduit Parts, a world of parts with a personal touch. I love saying that. This podcast is about more than just selling stuff. We think if you stick around, you will get a lot out of it. I'm Steve, and I'm joined by Al. Al, how you doing?
Hola, senor.
That's better. Okay, Al, let me ask you a question. Are you ready to touch somebody today?
That's creepy.
Al,
I do like touching people.
It's good to have you back.
I think that's why
Al.
you said that.
Hopefully somebody out there will get something out of this, and for that reason we brought in a special guest. His name is Joe Grimaldi. Joe is a sales professional, podcaster, faithful husband, and Uber driver. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing wonderful, Steve.
Oh, it's so good to have you here, Joe. We're going to be talking about sales, of course, and a specific topic when it comes to sales, and more than sales when it comes to life. But first, let me ask you guys how you guys are doing. Al, how was your week?
Good.
Yeah, anything exciting happen?
I got a missionary from Liberia, Africa, staying with me.
He's actually staying there. I knew that he was visiting, but he's staying with you. Cool.
Staying in my house, him and his wife.
Oh, that's nice.
Shout out to David and Lucy.
All right. Hopefully they'll be listening to this, and I'd like to say hello too. Joe, would you like to say hello to David and Lucy?
Hello, David and Lucy.
All right. Tell me a little bit about their mission there, Al.
Oh, okay. So they are in Liberia looking to help out youth. In Liberia, 75% of the population is under 25 years old.
Wow.
Just a whole bunch of the generations got killed off from a big civil war they had in the 80s and 90s. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Crazy.
So they're trying to reach the youth and build them up, give them some character, give them some Jesus, give them some love, maybe help them build a trade, feed themselves, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Good cause, definitely.
Awesome. Joe, do you have any missionaries staying at your house?
Last I checked, no.
Okay. Very good. And it's time for the topic of the day, and it is being real. Being yourself, being who you are, and figuring out what the difference is between being real and not being real. Doing what you're good at, knowing what you're good at, skills and habits. Al, why don't you start this topic off with a little bit of your own thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, if anybody knows me, which those out in podcast land might not, I only, at this point in my life, do what I'm good at. And I don't do anything that I'm not good at. I don't know if it's just something I've learned naturally, but I come to a point figuring that out, it's the best way to live. When I first started as a wee lad, back in sales, long time ago, I tried to emulate some people around me. And I didn't do really good at it. What I learned is I had to kind of mix a little bit of what they got with a little bit of what I got and focus on just what I'm good at. Mm-hmm. And man, shedding all that other crap and trying to fulfill or maybe even live up to other people's expectations with different skill sets, man, it didn't work out at all. Mm-hmm. So I totally changed my whole viewpoint on that. A lot of people go around and try to get their weaknesses and understand their deficiencies and maybe, add some skill and grow those. But I think of them as just a distraction. There are some ways of developing skill sets that you're not good at, and you should sometimes have to do that. But in general, they're just distractions for me. So I'm going for the gold, baby, with my strengths.
I think in life, a lot of times you feel pressured to be a certain person, either from your parents or maybe from your lineage. You feel as if you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to get into this profession or that, and you have to be good at a certain skill, whether it be finances or mathematics or whatever. And we get to a point where we're stressed out about trying to live up to these expectations. What are some ways that you can figure out whether or not you're doing something because you really want to do it, or you're doing something because you feel like you have to do it?
Do you want to get out of bed every morning and show up?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you dread it?
Right.
Depends on the day.
Right. There are certain times you're just going to dread it.
Yeah.
But expand on that, Al, because you're on to something there.
Yeah, I would have to say that overall, like ultimately, I just enjoy what I do. So, and I don't think I made myself enjoy what I do. What I was saying earlier, shedding off some things that I realize are weaknesses of mine, shedding off the responsibility of those, and focusing on my strengths, and really empowering myself to enjoy everything that I do. There are some tasks and activities I engage in every day that I might not like wholeheartedly, and they're just part of business, right? Mm-hmm. But I think about those things. I just do those so that I can do what I love. Mm-hmm. And you know, when I first started in sales, as Joe is in sales, I thought sales was all just about talking, you know, so I just did that. I was talking, and then I realized, like, I don't know, what the heck am I doing, you know? And what I really love to do is I love investigating. I love, you know, just getting in the business. My mom used to do this all the time. I'd come home from somewhere, from my aunt's house or grandma's or friends, and I'd tell her a story, and she would just ask so many questions. And if I didn't have an answer for her for those questions, she was like, "Come on, boy, you got to get the scoop." And I would just, I mean, even as a 5-year-old, I would hear my mom just ingraining that in me. Mm-hmm. Keep on digging deeper and asking about relationships around you, what's happening, you know, just always communicating in that way.
What are some of the signs, do you think, in your life that you are not doing what you should be doing, besides just not wanting to get up in the morning, which, of course, is a pretty big one? Or can you think of any other things that go on in your life that are red flags that you need to adjust your path in life?
Well, it depends on your goals. Are you looking to make more money?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're in a position where, well, this isn't providing for my families or allowing me to hit my financial goals or career goals or things of that nature.
I think you need to kind of pinpoint the motives behind what you're doing. Like
Exactly.
you said, if you're just trying to make money for the sake of making money, you might want to consider whether or not you're doing what you should be doing. If you're making money because you know you need to provide for your family, of course, that's not a desire to make money. That's a desire to pay to make a living for your family.
Yeah, I mean, there's some motivators in life that everybody has, and there's several of them. Some people are motivated by money or by attaining wealth. Some people are motivated by status. So you reach a certain, you know, management level or a certain level of power. Okay. Some have theoretical, you know, motivations. So just the learning and knowledge gathering.
My motivation basically is to be able to spend more time with my family. So I do what I can every day so I can spend time with my wife and my stepson and my stepdaughter and be able to go and visit my stepdaughter and see my family that's under my roof. Because I spent my first 3 years of my marriage working 70 hours a week. So if somebody's motivation is just money, it could be just them. There's more to life than just money. Mm-hmm. There's more to... I think getting up every day than just money. Mm-hmm. Again, society kind of makes it that way. The way we live, what we do, you do need money in order to survive. It's tough not to do that. Mm-hmm. But if that's your only focus, then people might want to look at themselves and say, there's got to be more to life than just going out and making a paycheck. Look around you, look at your family, look at your friends, look at the world around you and see and enjoy and kind of, you know, just broaden your horizon a little bit.
Making the paycheck or making the pasta?
Making the check. Making the pasta.
Making the pasta.
So Al, I'm going to put you on the spot, Al.
Go ahead, dude.
Hold your thought, but I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What was your motivation of leaving your job and starting Conequip? One of your motivations, anyway.
I wanted to actually spite my last boss and prove that I can do
Spiteful.
what I said I could do.
Okay. So was that a positive, healthy motivation into doing what you did?
Absolutely not. I realized early when starting a business, you do not make a lot of money. In fact, I made half as much, if not less, for about 3 or 4 years that I did working for somebody else.
Okay.
Well, let me kind of do a segue.
Yep.
So we were talking about motivators, things that we were trying to go for, attain, right, and getting those correct, right? Let's take the word motivator and switch it a little bit,
Okay.
right? Because you want to talk about reality and who you are.
Right.
Some people are built a certain way to be motivated
Right.
by things, right? And like earlier when I was introing talking about like just doing what you're good at and your strengths. So you can be motivated by certain things. Money could be one of them. You could be motivated by attaining a certain status, motivated by making relationships, gaining knowledge, things of that nature, right? So if you have the right motivation, right, and you have the right motivators, advice to anybody out there starting something brand new, realize and separate those two things, right? So once you get the skill sets down of doing something, the activities and things like that, then you can kind of thrive in your strengths within that.
One of the things that I notice that can really hinder the growth for anybody in sales or anything is putting too much energy and too much effort into something without having a game plan and how to improve yourself. You kind of spin in circles. You go around and around and you try different things and don't have procedures in place. Like you, Al, are big on testing and examining. And then one of my movies that I like the most is Rudy. What I like about this movie is you have this kid that's 5'6", 140 pounds, and he wants to play for Notre Dame. So he puts all his effort and energy into getting to a point where he could walk on to the Notre Dame football team, the top football team in the land, right? So he spends 2 years, 3 years of just working at school because he wasn't that good at school, and he just exhausted himself and just he broke off a relationship with a girl, and his family was, giving him a hard time about chasing after his dream. And eventually he got to play a few plays in like one of the last football games of his collegiate career. Otherwise, he was a walk-on, and as you remember, he got beat on and everything. And I remember thinking, what an inspirational movie. And then I watched it with my wife, and she said, he's so stupid. Put all that time, effort, and energy so he could play a couple plays. Do you realize what he could have done if he had just taken all that effort and energy and put it into something he was good at?
Obviously, he had 15 minutes of fame. He had some glory, right?
Right.
But what he did was he went to Notre Dame.
He did.
That's the point. He went to Notre Dame.
He did.
And he did something with the education he got afterwards.
Right.
So it's kind of like shooting for the stars and hitting the moon. Mm-hmm. And what really was the motivation? Well, he had a dream, so he went for it, and he accomplished it in a way, and that could have fueled him to do so much more, take risk, to hang on to a dream and fight for it, where it could feed your family and maybe even, build some wealth or build a dream of financial freedom. I don't know what his life is like right now.
Right.
But the idea is that, I think. And like I'm looking at Joe's numbers right now. We record everything. Like, so Joe can't like fake it. He can't like live in some dreamland. There is reality available to you at any point here, at least. And I encourage anybody in sales, anybody in a business, to just start paying attention. Count literally where you're at.
Trying to get out of debt.
Yeah.
Doing your finances, absolutely. Put the numbers right in front of you.
Put the numbers in front of you and see where you are, what you're working with.
Well, let's tell us his numbers. What do we got?
What do we got?
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning of the year, when he was newer, his sales were average of around 59,000. Guess where his average sales now?
I'm gonna guess 78.
97.
What?
Is his last 3 month average.
All right, a little applause. Way to go, Joe.
Thank you.
He's broken 100, almost 150 at one time a couple months ago, and he's probably on his way to do that. And that's the key, is that he's helping more people. He's solving more problems. That's what he's focused on.
Here at Conequip, they help you tremendously, and they put you on the path. And they give you the tools to succeed, and it's up to you to use the tools. If you don't use the tools, then you're not being humble, and your ego standing in front of you, and that's not the way to do it.
Final thought, Al, on being real?
Joe realizes he's a tool. Or no, wait. I mean,
You're the tool.
I'm the tool.
You're the tool.
Joe realizes.
I realize that Al's the tool.
He needs to use the tools.
That's
he was so heartfelt, and I totally ruined it.
That's why I do this podcast, for
Oh,
those few and far between golden moments of brilliance. All right, so that was being real, and it is now time for message to the company. Al, do you have anything that's going on here? Any neat stuff? Are you announcing the sale of the company or anything like that to the staff?
No, we're going to actually, Conoquip gets a lot. Yeah, we're going to. Conoquip gets involved in a lot of charities and stuff people don't realize sometimes. And we're actually going to start launching a program in the next month or two where we focus on a certain ministry or charity we're involved in already, and bring it out to the company to aid in supporting that, and bring it out to even our customers to support that as well. Just, like, what's your real motivation in life? Why do you get up? And
Right.
I'm starting to realize it's definitely not just money.
Right. So it's touching lives of people out there, people you haven't even met yet, right?
Dude, stop. Do you always want to touch people?
I know.
Why do you go there, Steve?
Having an
We need a
impact,
bigger
all right?
room.
An impact on
I'm too
lives. How
close
about
to him.
impacting lives, Al? Does that sound better? Okay, well, that was our 13th Selling for Life podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. You can check out our website at sellingforlife.com. Leave a quick message on the website, and we can also be reached at contact@sellingforlife.com. So, until next week, remember, whether you're selling a client on a hot penny stock or you're trying to sell cryonics to a Hindu who believes he's going to be reincarnated anyway, one thing is for sure, you are always selling for life.
Where do you come up with this stuff?
Selling cryonics. What is cryonics?